Wait a minute. Since I'm live streaming, just set this up. So start recording. Zoom recording. Okay. Yes, we're going to say something.
I reached out to Project Pit and did not get a response.
So we'll be probably tabling it. Okay, so
but I did send them attendance information in case they came and didn't feel like they wanted to.
That's all right. So far we haven't heard from them. Michael, are you still with us? I see you're also on mute, and I imagine you're carefully driving so that you don't die. Is this right?
Yeah, I'm still with you, and just muting when like motorcycles and what have you are passing me by.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to call the meeting of UNNC's executive committee to order. In attendance are myself, Laura Myers, identified in the picture as UNNC president because it's what the idea is for the room, but I am UNNC's vice president. Candace Jackson is here. If she says a word, she might end up on the screen.
Oh, hi, Candace Jackson, UNNC treasurer.
Right? And Michael Soderstrom, who is our, what the heck?
That's me.
What the heck? Michael is our signatory. And so
isn't he also the secretary?
No, he is not. Mark, absent are Marco, our secretary, and Paula, our president. Totally muted.
Okay.
Should be muted now. Having technical issues.
I just turned it down.
Okay. Yeah, because you're mute here.
Yeah. But you can hear me over there, right?
I can hear you because you're in the room.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah,
so I can just leave mine muted and talk and it'll pick up over there. That's what
this baby picks you up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes. So I'm gonna, in case anybody is watching on YouTube, sorry for our technical issues. I'm going to post tonight's agenda on the share screen and quickly go through it. And our agenda is what we just did. Welcome, call to order. We're reviewing the agenda and we've done the roll call. We'll have general public comments and announcements. These are any announcements that are not related to anything that's on tonight's agenda. And then executive committee business. Essentially, we just have treasurer's report and vice president's report. I do not have in my possession executive committee minutes for September or October for us to discuss and approve. Funding items, I do have with us an administrative funding request for the 2024 homeless count. And I do not have, correct? We do not have funding request at this time. So we will table the funding request from Project Pit. And beyond that, what's on the agenda is
he's the signatory and the card holder.
Yes. Okay. We would have committee reports and a quick discussion of agenda items for the next governing board meeting. So that is our agenda tonight. Are there any public comments or general announcements under general public remarks about anything that is not on tonight's? I have one. Kind of interesting. So on this coming Saturday, and Michael, I hope you can hear this. Two things are happening that both will end up in Harvard Heights, among other places. So one is the annual Great Los Angeles Walk. And that is a thing that a couple of editors at Variety have been doing for, this is the 19th year. On the Saturday before Thanksgiving, they announce a starting place and invite people to walk across Los Angeles.
So it's like a pop-up walk?
Well, it's not exactly pop-up after 19 years, but
Well, I mean,
yes.
the location is a pop-up.
Well, what they do usually is say now it starts somewhere east and it ends up at the ocean at a bar. And they've walked Wilshire Boulevard, Olympic Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard. They have walked through West Adams twice.
Okay.
The second time was in 2022. And that was a route that sort of zigzagged from the Shrine Auditorium north of Figueroa and then on Adams out west.
What a walk.
It's a long
That's,
walk. Yeah. So this Saturday, they're walking, they're honoring the USC UCLA rivalry. And they are starting in Exposition Park at the city's oldest palm tree. So that's somewhere in Exposition Park.
Okay.
Walking north on Vermont to Washington Boulevard, and then walking west on Washington to Culver City and beyond, and then up to UCLA. So they're walking right through our neighborhood from Vermont to wherever on Washington Boulevard. Same day, same general location on Washington Boulevard, there's a international mural event happening at both the corner of Ardmore in Washington and the corner of 6th in Washington, where artists from around the world are making murals. And I think they've already started. I don't know, I haven't actually driven it, but it's Saturday and Sunday with live music, refreshments, painting. So neither of these two organizations knows the other is happening, but we know it.
So we have to.
So I think that Hunter and I might, and maybe Michael, if you're around, I don't know, might set up a little 1-hour booth in the morning at the
mural.
Well, the mural thing, but at the one at Ardmore, because it's more open.
Yeah.
And maybe hand out stuff at UNNC in our community. I think maybe we might, I mean, it's, just kind of piggybacking on it, not trying to be there all day by any means.
Okay.
So, this is the CD10 is co-sponsoring, but they have no information. I mean, in other words, it's been going, remember we approved me writing a letter of support and then the council district didn't need a letter of support?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we talked about this a couple of months ago, but that's this Saturday.
So we need folks to volunteer.
Well, I don't see that in class. I think we don't need to be there all the time. I just think that short period of time when these other hundreds of people,
Walking through, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that would be when we wanna kind of say, hey, look at how cool we are here in this neighborhood. Welcome. I know you're leaving because you're walking 14 miles or whatever it is to UCLA.
I'm still trying to figure out.
That's a long
which way are they walking once they do?
Well, they're gonna go west on Washington to at least Culver City, and then there's a route, there's a published route.
Okay.
It's called the Great Los Angeles Walk, there is a published route, but you can't just intersect it.
Yeah, could you, well, I mean,
Just
then
start
they
it.
might go, yeah, it's weird.
But they have a public,
Yeah.
no, they've got a route that they're suggesting strongly. I mean, they're not taking any personal responsibility for anybody tripping, falling, having a heart attack, walking too much, but it's an event that has been happening for years now, so it's kind of cool. Okay, that's my only announcement. Anybody else? Probably not. All right, so essentially, we have the budget from you, we have the training and attendance report from me, and we have a funding request that I'm making. But on behalf of the homelessness committee, even though it meets Thursday. So we're fast backwards on this. And then the only other thing we need to do is agenda items. for the next governing board. Michael, what do you think is your timing for actually somehow arriving here?
I'm not sure. I'll put it into the GPS right now. I'm at Melrose and Rossmore right now.
And I'm assuming the young man who's with you does not want to come here, although he's absolutely welcome and it's going to be a brief meeting.
I have two, and they do not want that at all. That's I
A
literally
good
passed right
assumption that I can't even offer Halloween candy.
No, I'll pass right in front of the house. So that stopping there
Okay.
doesn't add any time.
Because I feel like maybe the budget is the item we should defer until you get here.
That's fine.
Yeah, just because that's more detailed and these other two these other couple of things we can do where you can just listen in and comment. Does that
Yeah.
make
Okay.
sense?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I simplified it as much as I could.
I know, I understand, but the other two are even more simple.
Gotcha.
That's all I'm saying. So if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is my report for vice president, training and attendance, I'm gonna share, Michael's not gonna be able to see this. Where'd it go? I don't know.
Slide it down some.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
There you go.
There it is.
The share screen can be a little tricky.
Yes, it can. Okay, so here I am sharing the screen of our training. So essentially, in the news, most of these say have 2025s and 2026s on them. So that means that they've taken their training. Show King finally was approved by Dunn
Okay.
for one of her two required trainings. She was still having trouble. I'm not sure why, because she reached out only once, but they did show that her ethics was completed as of November 7,
Okay.
but her funding remains not done. And we had given her till November 3rd, but I feel like I don't feel like that means she's automatically.
Yeah.
I mean, we almost have to take another action, and I feel at this point she's definitely working on it,
Yeah.
but I'm just sighing.
And considering what Alfonso was talking about with other folks that are also kind of
Well, that was a
taken
attendance.
to, yeah.
No, I'm
You're talking about training.
I'm just talking about training. But at the same time, shakiness on training. We've got Michael Kimbrough. This was revised from something we had seen before, but now it's showing that his funding actually expired in April. It wasn't showing that, now it is. So I think what's happened is that they've gone back in and are looking at test results.
Oh, like how did you score? for
How
it?
did you score?
Oh,
Did you score at least whatever the number is that you needed to have scored?
Yeah, but they
So-
have passing things. Well, I remember.
I think they
Just
do.
amount in passing.
I'm just saying his status has changed
Mhm.
in the last month and a half or 2 months. And in fact, I had asked Michael Soderstrom to make sure on the BAC that if he voted, which he did, he has to be moved to the ineligible because he wasn't eligible. So I don't want to be turning in BACs that make us have to vote again. Thank you. That would be so bad.
Yeah.
So, and then last but not least, Miss, where is she? Is this the whole thing? I am. Okay, there we go. Miss Betty Anderson has still not taken her anti-bias or her gender expression and gender identity training. Now she's wasn't ill for months, but now she is ill. So I don't know what we're gonna do.
That's what I was gonna say. I should check her number.
Yeah, somebody should really check on her. I mean, Teresa said she would, but Teresa.
I know.
stuff's going on. So, but, you know, and I will handle Michael if you'll handle Betty, see how she's doing and just say, what about your
Let me know.
training?
So it's a card.
Yeah. So everybody else is good. I mean, yay, but everybody else is good. So I'm gonna stop this share. And then what I want to talk about is on the funding item, administrative, I'm calling it an administrative funding request for the 2024 homeless count, refreshments requesting $500. I have last papers and I was going to share that and you and I can look and go over it. Oops. I don't think that worked. No. So we'll share. Again.
Oh, it's an event.
Well, this is how we had to do it last time
Okay.
as an event. Which is why I wanted to get going. Because they now have the rules.
Yes.
So this has to be turned in by the 23rd of December. Or before that, but
Okay.
because it's the event, the homeless count is on the 23rd of January.
Right.
So this is last year's application, so not all the information is correct. Like the name of the contact person from LASA will not be the same.
Okay.
So, but this is what we had to do, you know, our neighborhood council, and we had to say we were a co-sponsor of the event. This is at Holman Church.
Mhm.
So we're not a co-sponsor of the whole homeless count, just the one
site.
location.
Okay.
So we will need to have the name of the person from LASA, not that that person will ever be contacted. And UNNC, we were limited to refreshments.
Mhm.
You can see that. Yes, okay. And Tori is the chair for the homelessness liaison committee. I think she's unresigning for an extra.
I was gonna say,
She resigned as of the 31st, but then she brought this up, so she's gonna have to unresign and re-resign.
to be the chair. Gotcha.
Right. And I'm helping coordinate the refreshments. And obviously it would be the 2025 homeless count, not the 2024.
Mhm.
Even though on this I put 2024, but that's an error on the agenda. And it has where it is, you know, that this stuff is pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
And then I had written, well, this is the normal page too.
Mhm.
And
What do we have to submit for this tool?
well, what we see, this is the thing. We did Subway sandwiches.
Mhm.
Tori wanted chili, wanted us to pay for chili,
The chili.
the chili, the guy. And he refused to provide his copies of his liability insurance
Oh,
His business tax license.
To be the vendor.
to be the vendor. And it's like, forget. And then this was like the first time we did the Subway sandwiches. And it turned out to be not hard at all. They had in their back room, the particular one on Western,
Mhm.
their BTR, business tax registration certificate, and their health license,
The Subway.
and their insurance,
Mhm.
and it's all on file now. And that's the same Subway we've been going to since then,
Okay.
because you know I've
Because
been
it's
bringing.
covered, yeah.
Because it's approved.
Mhm.
So what I had to write last time, this is the narrative, was a page of narrative that's saying, you know, what is LASA? Why do they hold the biennial point in time census
Mhm.
count of unhoused individuals? We have a very active homelessness liaison committee. This is the annual event that we've been supporting for years.
Mhm.
Blah, blah, blah. And we provide refreshments at that one location. And the effort serves an important neighborhood and citywide service, you know.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. I mean, so I just feel this is very straightforward.
Yeah, it looks straight.
And then that was it. And then this was our motion last year, very last. Well, it became very last minute. The motion wasn't very last minute, but pulling it together was very last minute because it took the city a long time, the clerk a long time to decide that this was an event.
Right.
So. But essentially, this would be the
What we would, yeah.
do again.
So would we go back to Subway or try
Yes.
to find another?
No.
Okay.
I'm willing to coordinate so long as I don't have to do anything.
Right.
I mean, so Tori, she does want chili again, and it's like, find another source to pay for it. I mean, we had both last year. Were you there?
I actually, it said that the site was full, so
Yeah,
I
it
ended
never
up.
really is full. You could just show up.
Right, so I actually ended up twin the count with some folks from work at with Joan Sawyer's office at Exposition Park. So we walked
So that was
around.
probably fun, but not as tasty.
They didn't have any food. Oh,
Right,
not
that's
the
what I-
places. They had like cookies and Doritos.
No, we had.
They had like snacks.
No,
but
we
not
had
like
the Subway sandwiches,
Mhm.
we had, Tori figured it out, somebody paid for the chili,
Mhm.
just wasn't us.
Right.
There was other food as well, and there was chips, there were cookies, there were drinks. And the room, they have plenty of space, even when they sell out, they don't sell out. Anywhere. So, and what's really nice about it is it's all the CD10, I mean, in other words, it's our people.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so this year I think it'll be fine to do it with this group, because I'll just get in earlier. But last year, I also.
Well, then what happened was last year, I remember,
Mhm.
because they asked, this year, same thing, they're asking for 85 people, and then they changed it to 200. But they wanted to apparently spread people out. Meaning they Lhasa,
Mhm.
and then this one had more. Those, the routes.
Gotcha.
So even with having a lot of people, there were a lot of people who had to do multiple routes. Because there weren't enough people to just give one or two, so that some people were doing 5 and 6 routes. I don't know how many routes you did.
We were walking
Oh, well, you went to Dunn's.
to the point, yeah, we were
Yeah.
walking as long as it was safe, so we walked some.
Yeah,
of
our
it.
route, the routes, I mean, I don't do it at all, I do the food.
Yeah.
I do.
We walked the immediate Exposition Park
Mhm.
directly across the street, but part of our district was on the other side of the freeway. That was not great to walk by yourself,
No,
right?
I can't
So,
imagine walking
yeah.
under the freeway.
Yeah, no, we weren't doing that. So we did the walkable part that was right by the park, and then one of the Lhasa folks drove, and we
Right.
did the other side.
Well, this is a much bigger effort. I want to hear that. So, but anyway, I'm not trying to sell you. I'm just saying.
Oh no, I mean it was a good experience. I would do it again. Say this year I'll make sure I sign up. I don't think, because we didn't have that great of a turnout for volunteers, because folks weren't quite sure about it.
Right.
And so I'm like, this year.
Okay, well, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
the one that UNNC supports,
Mhm.
it's also a lot of UNNC people go. So, it's, we're at that point in time, the candidate filing for elections will have closed already.
Okay.
So we're not gonna be saying join, but I think we'll be able to talk to people about making sure they apply for their ballots.
Mhm.
We'll have a bet, we'll know by then.
It's a good recruiting.
It's 3 days after it closes.
Mhm.
We will know by then if we actually have an election.
Mhm.
I mean, do we have enough candidates? But it's a good way to do some outreach with community members,
Yeah.
basically. Okay, so I'm gonna move that we recommend to the governing board that we spend up to $500. Back and look and see the language.
For refreshments.
Here, hang on, I gotta do it right. That we fund up to $500 for refreshments for the 2025 homeless count on Thursday, January 23rd. at the West Adams Volunteer Hub, located at Holman Church, 3328 West Adams. And that UNNC would vote to approve this as an event and authorize the submission of that application. Any second?
Oh, second.
And Michael, did you hear any of that? Still with us.
There we go. Sorry, I'm muting. Yes, I heard everything and I'm on board.
Okay, so you're voting yes, I'm voting yes, Candace is voting yes.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Okay. What else can we talk about till when Michael gets here? Did you say you're eating dinner now?
Who, me? No, I'm basically probably about 5 minutes away.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the agenda items for the next governing board meeting, and then we'll wait till the budget, since you're 5 minutes away till you get here. So agenda items for the next governing board meeting, next governing board meeting is the December celebration meeting.
Which is also
Each one bring one, but the point of each one bringing one is that we're not gonna kill them. We're not gonna have a meeting that goes to 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So we were trying to limit our agenda items. That said, this one will be on it, homeless account.
Okay.
$500. We do have, it should not involve a lot of discussion, a proposed community impact statement from the planning and zoning committee, which is already written. Which is on there's a motion regarding the definition of major renovation versus demolition, because
I think you talked about that the last.
I
Well, kind of.
Yeah. Right, but I mean, basically, it's that it's happening too often that the developers, well, flippers, whatever, that they leave one vertical post standing in a little corner of foundation and rebuild, so they're building a new something that wasn't like the old something, but they're not
They're not getting it right.
They're not getting a demolition permit, and as a result, they're not having to do the posting the notice, letting the community know, it's sort of avoiding, and it also avoids, they're getting conforming rights, non-conforming rights. So anyway, we're just, we've already written the CIS, so that will just be on the agenda itself, printed. So it should go quickly. There's no cases that we're bringing forward. And what else should be on that agenda? We should have as brief an agenda as possible. That's where I'm going.
Okay. Agreed.
And those are the only two things that are at the top of my mind. Other than the budget, which will be the same thing we're doing tonight.
Yeah, and that's not gonna be a long thing.
Well, from you.
No.
Before people start asking questions, because they won't have read it in advance.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I thought about this, and so
Okay, we're not moving to the budget quite yet. I'm just saying that will be.
Well, I'll just preview you. So I'll preview something with you all today. And then if you think that this is cool, I could do it at the meeting.
Okay, but I'm just saying, we're talking right this second about the agenda items.
Yeah.
We're on agenda item 6. What are the agenda for governing board? So the budget will be one.
Yes.
Thing. And then in terms of food, I guess, and decoration.
So I have in my possession the decorations that I bought for UNNC, but never reimbursed myself for. But it's fine. Like they were from the 99-cent store, RIP. So I didn't spend that much money.
Right.
So that's just my candy.
But are you going to be able to get off work early enough to actually?
When's the meeting?
The first Thursday. Sure. It would be December 5.
How early would I have to be there?
Well, it's probably 6 o'clock.
Oh, that's not terrible. I'm technically off at 5, so I could put on my calendar, I have something. So then that way, usually on Thursdays, I check in with my boss at like 10 or 11, depending on what his schedule's doing. So once we have our weekly check-in, it's a little better.
Okay.
Kind of like, as long as we go through the list and stuff, it's fine. He doesn't have to be pushed until Monday. Everybody kind of disappears.
Well, it
They go
is the
into
holiday
Friday.
season.
Yeah, it is right. Yeah, so all that to say, it should be fine to get there, because I have that. I can maybe do some inexpensive flowers. They don't cost that much. Like I did
Well,
last
I think. Yeah, I don't know that we have to worry too much about, what we would only have to do to reimburse you
year. Mhm.
is 2 motions. One is a motion that approves the purchase of the flowers. And then the second motion is to, decorate purchase of decorations for
Mhm.
December meeting.
Yeah.
And the second motion is the reimbursement, so it has to be 2 separate motions where you.
Okay.
But
So
but it's doable, I just don't know how many flowers we need flowers for all the tables, or just a really pretty thing.
I found it out last time, so
No, I'm asking,
It was,
do we need flowers for all the tables where people are sitting, or just flowers for in effect, the buffet table?
honestly, the last time I did it, I did little mason jars. Those
Right.
aren't too expensive. So maybe that was like 6 mason jars or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Well, I'll eyeball.
I'm just saying, I think as long as we keep our prices reasonable,
Yeah.
and then as well. I'm
not
thinking
gonna
the food.
spend $400.
Oh, God, no,
a lot of,
no, but we're gonna talk about the food, and then the other
Yeah.
question is, should we have a cake? Like a sheet cake or something,
like a holiday.
dessert, I don't know, that's one reason I'm asking the question. Because I do know it's not inexpensive to have a cake. If I went to Superior, for example, and have one of their lovely fruit topping,
Oh, those are
creamy,
good.
those are really good, so people would eat that, but
Mhm.
that's probably $40 or $50. In addition
I
to,
mean,
we have the money,
Yeah,
I
I
know
don't
we
mind.
do.
Yeah.
We do
I
have the
think
money.
that's fine.
It's just that
The clerk's not gonna be mad.
Well,
As long as it stays within, what it was
Less
like
than
$200.
less than $10 a person. Of who's in attendance, so that's the other thing, it's like, we really want to encourage our board members not to be on Zoom, to actually.
To be in person so they can eat food, right?
Exactly, have dinner, have heavy
So I
refreshments.
wanna say working on 25 of us, is that fair?
I would be assuming, well, if we each one bring
Like
one,
corn plus 10? If each one brings them?
right, that's the
Yeah.
thing, 20, I think 25 is a fair number to be aiming for, just hoping it doesn't end up being 13 people.
Gotcha.
I would hope.
Oh,
Yeah. I was gonna check in once again with El Cholos, but I'm gonna ask the clerk really specifically.
mhm.
Because what triggered the concern was that it said El Cholo,
Oh.
and even though what we served was very inexpensive, actually.
Well, you know who else is good if they think El Cholo is too fancy? When I brought food for the meeting last year, I went to Ramona's.
What is that?
Ramona's is like El Cholo, and you can get, I think, like the pan of enchiladas is like $30.
Yeah, well, that's the same, El Cholos was very inexpensive.
Yeah.
actually.
So I'm
That's
saying
what it
though, but
was.
if the name El Cholo is.
Well, I think it was
fancy.
I think it was just that it was a restaurant and not a Subway.
Cause cause I have a problem getting reimbursed when I turned in the Ramona's receipt. So maybe Ramona's is considered more fast food, right?
Oh, I
Where El
see.
Cholo is like let's sit down. Where Ramona's, you can get a tin of beans for $20 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it might be considered more
I-
fast food.
So
You
again,
want me to look into it or?
Not really,
No.
because that's the same prices as Alcoa.
Okay.
And then, and it's close to where we're meeting.
Yeah.
So the food was warm,
Gotcha.
you know, but, I know I bought too much rice last.
So maybe like,
I bought 2 trays rice and people did not eat.
I'm trying to think, so maybe 1 tray of rice, 1 tray of beans, and in this case, it's better to run out than not. Cause then you end up with a lot of food and then you're trying to figure out how to do it.
Right, and then I think I had only got cheese and enchiladas, and of course, we had somebody complain, why no meat?
Cheese was delicious. My
Well,
favorite thing there.
Because if I bought only meat, I mean, when you
Then
get
there are people who don't,
can't-
yeah.
Right, and I couldn't help the
But
people who,
cheese and chicken is safe, cause there are people who are off beef.
right, so,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking. It's,
Did you like better?
Yeah.
it's possible that what makes even more sense would be. Stick to cheese. And then go to Pollo Loco and get wings. I don't know,
I feel like if you do.
that's too much trouble.
Yeah, cause that's a lot of running around, right? So let's say,
We have.
yay, so let's say pan of chicken, this is what I got, a pan of chicken, a pan of cheese, a pan of rice, a pan of beans, cause those are slightly smaller sometimes.
Those are
And-
smaller trays.
Yeah, and then, maybe like a little salad on the side for someone who wants greens.
Someone who-
So you like-
Someone who's vegan and gluten-free, yeah.
They want a salad, and then if the food runs out, it runs out, and that means that's less for us to take home. I'll try to figure.
Well, then there is that, and then maybe a cake and maybe not, because cakes got very expensive.
I feel like a good, like you said, superior with maybe some.
Oh,
herbs on top.
the beautiful superior,
Yeah.
how do you even pronounce it?
It's
Superior.
superior,
No, but that's the word.
or in español it's superior, but it's a little.
Right.
roll it in.
Right, okay, well, anyway, so I'm gonna talk to Anna and make sure that me doing last year's. Food again doesn't get us a red mark again, since now, as long as it's under $10 per person. And because she did specifically say we did not need to vote on doing it as an event. You know, because we asked her that question 2 months ago.
Yeah, so
So-
it doesn't have to be.
Okay, all right, so we are moving back to budget. So you're in the Zoom, right? So if I make you a co-host, you can
I think I
share
can
the
share.
screen.
Oh.
I still just don't want you to talk. I mean, so, yeah. Did you just share?
That's me.
That's you? Okay, here we go. So-
All right,
So
so.
you're doing a presentation that you're running through as a test for the governing board, this is your.
Yes, and cause I feel like I write, I'm a writer, but I also do presentations for work. And I'm
That's
like, let
fine.
me just do this, right? So this way folks can see, cause sometimes if you just like update, cause if you
Yes.
update the numbers, it's like, wait, where are we at? So this is the Candace, quick and dirty, maybe not too many questions, but also feedback on what I can add so that we can see. So here's the admin update with rollover funds by me. Okay, so this is a quick budget.
I just
overview
love how
here.
you're using our official colors.
I was gonna add some pictures, but later, but for now, right? So this year, our base budget from the city is $32,000, right? Our rollover amount is $9,649 from the previous year. So our total budget for this year is $41,949.04. That's inclusive of the rollover. So in the first admin budget, which I did retype, so yeah, we can sign that today if you want. So in the original budget packet that we signed in, our budget is based on the 32,000 and has not yet incorporated the 9,600-ish dollar rollover amount there, right? So what this presentation does is doesn't necessarily, so when I was thinking about this, I didn't touch anything that we've already allocated for, because a lot of that stuff is just like ongoing costs that we have to pay every year. So I said, all right, let me break it down so people understand. When I have to turn this in, there are three major budget categories. You have your office and operational. So our current allotment for that is $20,060. This includes the outreach budget, and this also includes elections. So all of that falls, because when you turn it in,
Yeah, no, but I'm gonna correct you. It does not include the outreach budget.
it's
The
a,
20,000 does not include the outreach.
it's a subcategory.
No, really, honestly, it doesn't. Keep going.
Well, I'm saying, all of that that's the subcategory of the outreach and operations. You're right, outreach is separate, elections is separate, but all of that falls under the category. So when I have to go in and type it in, I have to combine that original operations plus elections plus the other one, and that's one category. So there's no separate.
Yeah, I
this
think I'm saying the
election.
20,000 does not, you short 3,000.
Well, if I add outreach and the other thing, it would be more than that.
20,000.
So the office, so I'll take this off. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll know to myself to take that off, but
Sure.
well, right, but yes, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, right, that $20,000 is part of outreach because it's a website.
Well, the $20,000 is the office
It's
and
the
operational part.
It's
But
the above,
then-
it's the above the line, it's the items we don't need to vote on more than once. We just vote on them when we approve the admin packet. We don't have to vote on public storage every month.
Right,
We don't have to vote on and more than once, except for we did, but I mean.
right, so, right, but office and operational also includes the other one, so I'll update the numbers. All right, so our current MPG allocation is $6,000. That's how much we have in the budget for that now. That's the second category. And the third category is CIPs, which we currently don't have any money in. And an example of that is the wonderful tree project that we had that was ongoing, but basically community kind of improvement outdoor things that people do. So here's the suggested amount. So we have about $9,600 to do in the elections category. I was at that meeting where we talked about the budget. We talked about 3 phases of $1,500. So they already requested the first phase of $1,500 for the initial materials and stuff. So that would be part of our rollover. The next part would be to add more to outreach in general, since I know that we're trying to go out and get more people to be involved, aside from elections, but like maybe get more booths to sponsor, go to more events.
Well, like this $500.
Right. Like I know we had our own UNNC event at the park last year. So I know we're still working on the outreach committee per se, but you know, maybe planning something like that for the late spring, early summer. Also adding $2,500 to the MPG category because we do get requests. And so maybe we can give folks a little more in that area. And then I said, because there's nothing at all.
And there's a reason there's nothing at all.
Oh, okay. Well, so this is, I guess, as executive committee, this is where we could talk about this. So I just put the remaining amount into the CIP part because there was no budget there.
Right.
In case anyone comes to the committee, wants to do any outdoor external neighborhood cleanup.
It's almost already too late in this fiscal year to start a improvement.
So,
but anyway,
so yeah, so
I'm glad you run through this
right
presentation, and we'll come back and talk about.
Right. So this is, I mean, that's essentially the idea that this is where we would add the money, and then all of this adds up to the $9,646.04. So as the executive committee, this is not in stone, so.
Is this the end?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, as again, it's short, it's still, so
right.
at this point now, this is where I get feedback from the committee. Like, okay, do we want, are these good numbers? Do you want to add more to outreach? Do you think we should add less somewhere else? But essentially, this is what I saw in the budget that
Right.
made sense. Maybe something else makes more sense.
Well, the problem with community improvement projects
Mhm.
is they don't have a good way to actually implement. So that, in other words, if Western Heights, if they came to us and said, we would like to do well, let's try differently. If Harvard Heights says we would like to replant the garden on Oxford,
Mhm.
right, across the street from where you are, or kind of, we'd like to redo that. It would have to, unless we're shopping at the store at Lowe's and we're digging the holes and we're doing it, so we're just buying the supplies and putting them in the ground. Normally it's a third-party vendor, and then they don't want to pay a third-party vendor, and then it gets really difficult, and then they don't want to pay them before the work is done.
Right.
But then the work can't be done because they don't have any money to buy the stuff to put in the ground. And I mean, there's always a problem, and then another problem, and then another problem, because they can't get over the idea that we end up with third-party vendors.
Okay.
And they don't want to pay third-party vendors, and they absolutely don't want to pay neighborhood associations. So if the neighborhood association is also a 501c3, and I think Harvard Heights has finally become that. I think I heard.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not, because Waha was holding money for a long time, and now they don't ask us to hold any more money.
Okay.
And not only that, they said, keep the money you have. Well, that was COVID gift, right? But I think we really intended to put those into trees, but I mean, Waha, in other words, but the point I'm trying to make is that they're really, really hard to do. And they used to be a little bit easier, but even then, that was when people could hang on to the money, because they're also not easy to do. So I don't know that we'd want to, for an unknown, nobody's proposed anything,
Okay.
have it sitting in our budget and start giving people ideas, because I don't think we'd have enough time to implement it anyway. At this point, it's almost like this is, if somebody has a big idea for a community improvement project, it's something we should be talking about between now and April, when we're starting to prepare next year's budget.
Gotcha.
So we have enough time to actually do it.
If we just roll it all into the NPG. No.
Yeah, that's what I.
That's
I would put it all, the balance in MPGs.
Okay.
Even though it's an uneven number. And then on the elections, we still haven't decided, as you know, if we're gonna have 2 phases, 3. The thing is, the 3 phases of election, first phase is trying to get people to run, right, the candidates. And that's $1,500. We voted for it.
Yeah.
I think Hunter and Ever are working on it, but I realize we need to talk to Anna, because I think if it's almost all of it is at Print Depot, I can't use a credit card for $1,500 without permission, because it's in excess of 1,000.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, if we get a lot of candidates and we're having a robust election, then we have to do a robust phase 2 and a robust phase 3. Phase 2 is getting word out to the community about how to get their ballots, how to vote, how to. Teresa keeps using the word request your ballots or apply for a ballot. And we also may need to do what we've done in the past, recent past, is an event where we help people fill out their ballots. We did it at the Jefferson Park Library last time, so we didn't have trouble getting an event approved. But nowadays, this is before they instituted the whole darn thing with 30 days notice. So it's gonna be hard to do all of this because we don't even know if we need to do all of it
Depending
until
on how
January
many
20th,
votes. Yeah.
right? So on January 21,
Mhm.
I mean, we might have to pre-approve such an event and then kill it at the January board meeting.
Mhm.
So, you know, and turn it in and then decide not to do it, but that would be one kind of event, and I don't even know if ever wants to do that, just saying.
Yeah.
And then the third round would be that sort of combination of meet the candidates,
Mhm.
meet and greet, candidate forum, maybe on Zoom, but a meet and greet in person. And now that you have your ballots, don't forget to turn them in. You have to fill them out. Because there's no real election, it's all vote by mail. So it may be that we don't have three phases, maybe we have that phases 2 and 3 are really all one big second phase. So this preliminary, we may have that, some of that 4,500 may not get spent, but I think we need to have
So
it.
I think.
No, I think we need to
So
have it in the
instead of
budget.
just saying three
I-
phases of 1,500.
No, I think
you
that's,
can just.
no, I think it sounds good. I think it sounds good, I'm just giving you a heads up that it may not all get spent. I mean,
Well, you know, I just wanna make sure we have this rollover fund, so
Right.
the committee has, in my mind. You got four.
Well, we also said.
Whichever.
We
yeah.
also said half of the rollover should go to elections, so
Yeah.
there you are,
basically,
4,500 is basically half of the
Mhm.
money. So I'm good with the number, I'm just explaining, it also may not get spent. I don't know.
And it's fine, I think that we could revisit maybe rolling over into MPGs or something else.
Yeah,
If there's
easily,
some-
very
yeah.
easily, it's a standard thing on the agenda. My bigger question for you though is are you not creating the spreadsheet with the line items? You're just doing an admin packet type revision to the budget? It's okay with me, but you think that's gonna be okay?
I'll be honest, I didn't use that last year either. I could go and
Did
fill
anyone-
it in for where we are.
Right,
But what I was doing, cause,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
so I did remember I had the signed version, but.
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
updates
yeah,
in it.
yeah.
So I did type it, and then I was gonna send it to y'all to sign, and I'm like, well,
Well,
if
you're
we're,
gonna see us.
well, I'm gonna say, but if we're about to redo it.
We can't keep putting it off for Anna, we've got to turn it in, because for elections, we can't rely on just my credit card. Michael has to have a credit card. If we start spending $4,500, you've killed my car,
Gotcha.
sorry. But we
So
have to
wait,
get-
so wait,
we
so-
gotta get, we can sign and you can turn it in tomorrow,
Okay,
and so he can get a card.
I didn't know you didn't, oh,
He
that's
can't have a card till you turn that in
with his name.
with his name.
Cause I was like, why
And
we
that's gonna
always
take another
find
month.
this, yeah, okay,
And that's gonna take another, no, the problem is, along with regular spending,
Mhm.
there's limits on the card is limited.
That part I understand, I didn't know that they won't give you a card because they don't have this, cause I know that there's a
They don't
separate,
know he's the signature.
there's a separate,
They don't know he exists.
but isn't there like a separate
They
training?
don't, he's taken the training, you never got us the paperwork, they don't know he exists. They're sending all the emails to Teresa. We haven't told Anna he exists. So we've got to fix this, he can't sign the BACs. He can't use a card, he doesn't have a card, we gotta sign this paperwork.
Alright, well, here. I can sign it now, it's.
Thank you, and you can turn it in like right away, and then,
I signed it completely, it didn't have anything to do with the admin packet, it was a separate form that
it's
said.
inside the
You're
admin.
agree, no, it's a separate
Look,
form that you get after the training where it
That's
says
got nothing-
you are the person.
Because
And here are the things, and
Okay,
here's how you
here.
put it on.
you see, you're showing, here we go, you're showing this right here. Look, go back up. You see, it's all part of the packet. This is what we have to, so you're gonna have to do this twice, I agree, but we can't keep putting it off, but
Well,
it'll
yeah,
take
why not?
another month for him to get the card.
Alright,
And,
we'll solve this,
yeah,
right?
please,
Yeah, because I thought it was a separate, because I had to sign a separate form.
yeah, that's different,
Right after the thing, and that's how they put me in the system.
that's
So you
completely
sign it.
unrelated. Completely unrelated. So the problem is that Ever's gonna start spending money at Print Depot,
Mhm.
but at the same time, I'm still buying. $500 worth of Subway sandwiches for the homeless camp and the. Food for the December thing, and I'm paying the public storage, and I'm doing all those things, so my card gets tapped out. So we can't not pay the other bills, that's the problem, and then starting at the beginning of the year, we start getting hit with the annual, all the fees for the website.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of stuff that my.
No, that much I understand. I didn't know that the admin packet was the thing that made you do that.
Yeah,
Because when you take
that's why
the
I keep nagging you.
financial
No,
thing, did I make you sign a separate thing?
they probably did.
I went through a process. I don't remember exactly what was part of
They
it.
probably did, but that isn't it.
All right,
So we've never
go ahead and do this
informed
now.
Anna that Teresa resigned the position and Michael was authorized to take it over. We're gonna be giving her a BAC that's months and months and months old attached to that.
Does that BAC have the Michael problem?
The BAC says we've appointed Michael as,
Not that, but for everybody that signs it, remember you were just saying some people's stuff is out of.
holy shit.
Yeah.
I will just hope for the best on that.
Okay, I won't say anything.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been a BAC Teresa signed. And I signed. Back in July. Because remember what we voted was Michael would take over on August 1st. And that's, so we're, Anna's already gonna be pissy wissy.
I'll email her. I mean, so, all right, so.
So in
for
other
the-
words, we're gonna do it twice.
Mhm.
The current budget, the one we approved at the same time that we approved Michael Pig's signature back in July, is the one that you attach the signature pages to.
This is the one that I
This-
just sent.
Okay, but
That's the same one that is the exact same
Fine.
thing, just.
so we have,
changed
it's
the
not
name.
updated,
Yeah, it's not updated. Yeah,
right, so we just have to change the signature, we have to sign.
I already did that. You just signed, because I
Okay.
typed in. the
And when you say
position.
just sign digitally,
Yeah, I just emailed it to you.
can you, yes, well, Michael has his computer here, but I don't have mine, so Michael
Oh,
could sign it right. Well, because I'm on the UNNC computer, so if he signs and you sign,
Mhm.
I can take care of this in the morning. When I'm at my computer. And,
And then I'll send it to Anna and upload it on the website
yes,
and just tell her.
right, that we have finally officially. Changed signatories. And it's a good thing, because Teresa. Yeah. Sure. Okay,
So for the rollover funds though, we still.
No, I
just
think
saying-
you're gonna have to do it again. But you only have to change the budget, I think you just need the new BAC after the December meeting.
Now I'm back to the suggestions for what we allot the money for. So instead of the community
Yeah,
improvement
put it all in
project,
MPG.
you just want it in MPG, so.
And the question, since it has the uneven number. 14 cents or something,
Yeah, it's gonna be a not even.
right, do you wanna put the unevenness of it into outreach? And just a round number in MPGs?
Yeah, so what I can do then, is.
I've already
leave the-
forgotten your numbers.
Hold
Oh,
on, let me,
1,149.
hold on, let me make it bigger.
I can see it teeny on the computer. My suggestion would be take the 149.04,
Mhm.
the 149.04,
And
put
add
that
that
in
to the-
outreach. And put the plain 1,000 into MPGs
Okay,
as a round number, because we would never give an MPG for $149.
oh, I see what you're saying, okay. So switch them out, so.
Just $149.04 to
Goes to
outreach.
MPG and
No,
then the,
149.04 goes to outreach.
yeah, and then take the MPG 1,500 and put it on top.
No.
I think outreach is gonna become 1,649.04.
Exactly.
So just
And then
instead of,
NPG becomes 35.
Right.
And then CIP.
500,
okay.
and outreach is 16490.
Oh, see what you're saying, add it to the existing.
Yeah. And just keep community improvement at 0.
Oh,
I mean, if somebody comes to us with a community improvement with what's a CIP, for us, the only time we would want to do a CIP, we wouldn't want to do a CIP, but we might have to if the entity doing the work is not a nonprofit. If it's a 501c3 nonprofit, or if they can partner with a 501c nonprofit, it's just easier for us to write a check to the nonprofit and let them spend it.
no, I understand that.
And nobody's
So we'll just
proposed a
take
project.
community improvement project completely off. And
Correct.
just whatever our rollover is gonna be between the
So,
unless there's anything else we could think of, cause I feel like we got dinged for having, as I also thought, well, maybe we could do miscellaneous, but then I think we got dinged for having a miscellaneous.
you can't do, they didn't like it.
Yeah, I remember that from.
Because we had something where we had a 10% contingency, they don't like.
Yeah, I thought that too, like if we have to buy something that's not currently allocated for in the operations, we could
Well,
have.
Yeah, but I mean, for example, I mean, this is just budget, but you know, we did just spend X and Y. We did just buy the tablet
Yeah.
case,
Mhm.
we decided to buy Apple Care protection.
But that could be,
That was outreach.
I would say that could be, that's considered outreach. 'cause
Right,
the iPad-
so I don't know that we haven't already started to spend, you know, if we spent 500 and then we were spending another 500 on this homeless count,
Mhm.
that additional 1,500 is come and go.
Yeah,
And it's just what it is. It's in the budget and we're spending.
Oh.
You know, it's just come and go. So this, but we don't have to have this level of discussion. No input, please God.
no, that's, this is. Trust me, this is why I'm running it by you all now to
Right.
see, like, if you had ideas, if there was an event anybody thought of or had in mind, or another way that you wanted to spend it, so then that way I can update it.
That's gonna be so up to, ever. I mean, what, 2 years ago, what we ended up doing the environmental,
Mhm.
you know, Earth Day event,
Yeah.
but it was tied to the election.
Oh, I remember.
Right, do you know what I'm saying? It was like, so that outreach and elections and ought to be, he's not suggesting anything yet. So that's,
Do we have an outreach chair yet?
we know,
Okay.
and not only that, Hunter is pretty much gonna be focusing almost solely on
On
elections.
yeah.
For the time being, so we're not, you know, at the moment really thinking about other outreach or
Mhm.
creating an event. As far as I know, unless, I mean, that, you know, you were at the meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, you know, we just don't seem to be doing it. So back in. So in 2021, for the election, the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Association suddenly created an event. That was their event. They were gonna do a shredding day
Oh,
and
please,
came to us.
I need that.
Well, but they came to UNNC for money for that,
Mhm.
and we piggybacked on it. And decided that, oh, this would be a perfect time, and it was,
Mhm.
to also do, help people fill out applications for the ballots.
Us.
See, not fill out the ballots, but
Mhm.
applications for the ballot, so, and that worked out really well, I mean, it was, 20, 30 people
Mhm.
filled out those applications to get a ballot. Because it's sometimes hard for people to apply. And that's why we did it again on our own,
Mhm.
you know. In 2023. And maybe we're gonna do it again this time in 2025. But that's not an expensive event.
Okay.
The shredding event was an expensive event. I mean, the whole thing, I mean, we contributed $1,000 to it. They had a taco or hamburger truck. I mean, you know, they had
Yeah, it's
stuff
a-
was
yes,
going-
an event,
there
yeah.
was a whole thing going on. Which worked out well, but I haven't heard anybody suggest Okay, so we probably can. If you make those changes,
I will write now since we're talking.
and then we can probably end this meeting. 'Cause we actually ended up doing everything else. before we
Yeah,
got
I mean,
here.
the main
Oh.
thing was, huh? The
I was
main-
gonna say, we need to discuss timing of these meetings, so 7:30 instead of 7 going forward.
That's fine with me. Works better.
Would it work, is that gonna make any difference at all for you?
I mean,
Tonight it wouldn't have.
I will still be, I just have to, well, so
What's the schedule?
the kids' basketball practice, I think the season goes for another month, maybe, and then I can get everything ready. So, you know, I don't. Going forward, 7 would be totally fine. The next one, I think the next meeting, I'm actually out of town anyways.
Ooh, December 17th is.
I'm in Japan.
Oh, we are to 10 from Japan. I just say, let's take a peek. Well, yeah, when are you in Japan?
I
From
leave
when
on
to
the
when?
11th and come back on Christmas Day.
Well, yeah. Okay, well, that's actually. Where's 2025 on this calendar? Huh. I don't know how to go to 2025.
You should just be able to scroll down or up. You know.
It's like stuck. What year? Click on the year.
2026, sorry.
Okay.
All right, well, here's my point.
And then I'll sign it.
I'll make sure I have it.
Does anybody have an ability that apparently I don't have to take a look at the
Yes,
January 2025
I
calendar?
can. New Year's is Wednesday.
Okay, the thing is, January 1,
Mhm.
New Year's Day is a Wednesday.
Yep.
New Year's second, day after the second, which would normally be our governing board. We're not having governing board on the second.
So it's like
not
the
gonna
9th.
happen. Well, that would be, yeah, I'm gonna guess governing board is on the 9th. So I don't see how we're gonna do executive at all if you're gonna be in Japan. I mean, I'm just finding that Marco and Paul are having trouble getting to it. So the question is gonna be if we have trouble doing executive in December, how are we setting our January agenda? And we could probably do a 30-minute Zoom meeting between Christmas and New Year's.
That works for me.
Yeah.
I mean, in other words, I'm gonna check with Paula. I mean, I'm going nowhere.
The 17th is, okay, so I'll tell you, the 17th is fine for me.
And 17th is fine for me, but if we're gonna have trouble with,
And the 10th is too close to the governing.
but yeah, it's too far away from.
Yeah.
It's really too far away from a January 9th or later going forward. We need to be closer to, I just lost your screen,
Oh,
but it doesn't. I'm just saying, if everybody else can do the 17th, then Michael just misses it, that's okay. But if we have conflicts. If we can't get quorum.
I feel like folks are out of pocket for new Christmas Eve and. Could we do it the Monday?
Of what?
30th?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know that this space is available, I mean, we may need to do a Zoom meeting anyway.
We got all Zoom on the 30th is safe, if that's okay. Do we have to be in person?
No, I'm,
Unless we're.
well,
conflicting
this
with
is,
another
here's what
meeting.
I'm gonna say. It's possible that that's okay, and it's possible that that's a crazy, horrible day for me.
Okay.
Because City Living has to close its books,
Oh.
for whom I work. By the 31st.
Oh,
I hope we're closing the books on the 27th. If I close the books, I mean literally go to the bank with a payroll check and close the books. And the 30th would be a half day at the bank. I don't really want to be doing this. That'd be crazy. So it's probably fine for me because probably my crazy day is 26th and 27th of December.
okay.
Okay, but the goal is to do the 17th and I just not participate and then the 30th fall over or?
Yes,
Okay.
the goal is to do our normal meeting,
Okay.
but we have to have quorum.
Right.
And if you're in Japan, we cannot count on you.
I think it's very early in,
It's not just that, it's that, the.
I have to be in the
le-
country
You
or
have to be in
county.
the county.
Yes.
You must be in the county, yes. And while they have a hard time tracking it, we've just announced it on double recordings. that You're in Japan. Sorry.
That was Carl. Cyrus from Civic, Carl, not so much.
No, but that's exciting. Okay, let's adjourn this meeting,
Okay.
actually. I'm gonna